Hi, I'm Bill O'Reilly. Thanks for watching us tonight. Talking Points memo on fear and how it pertains to the Obama administration will be in our second segment tonight. But leading the factor, terror in Canada. Today, 32-year-old Michael Zephath-Bibeau opened fire in Ottawa, killing a soldier and wounding at least 3 other people. The terrorist then ran into the Parliament building where he was shot dead. Witnesses say at least 30 shots were fired in the altercations. This comes after another Canadian soldier was killed by a Muslim on Monday. After the man ran him over with a car, a second soldier was injured in that terror attack. Situation in Canada is fluid. Fox News will have hard news updates throughout the evening. Joining us now from Ottawa, Mark Sutcliffe, radio talk show host. So what can you add to the story tonight?
Well, Bill, it's been a shocking day in Ottawa. This is the kind of thing that I think a lot of Canadians feel typically happens in other countries, not here in what we consider to be a peaceful nation. We've had, as you point out, in the last 3 days, 2 Canadian soldiers who have been killed deliberately on Canadian soil. The National War Memorial in downtown Ottawa is a location that's open to the public, very accessible, and it appears somebody walked up to one of the 2 sentries who was standing guard over the tomb of the unknown soldier and shot him in the chest and killed him, and then made a short trip over to the Parliament buildings, which are not as secure as they should be, quite frankly. Walked right up through the front door of the center block of the Parliament buildings, and fortunately, before he was able to cause any harm, was shot by the Sergeant-at-Arms of the Canadian Parliament and was killed.
Don't you guys
so that
have,
was the end.
Mr. Sutcliffe, don't you guys have, electronic monitoring? I mean, guy's got a gun. He's got a mask. He's dressed all in black. How can he get into the building?
Security in Canada is not like it is in other countries, and security in the Parliament buildings is unfortunately very relaxed. There are measures that have been taken since September 11th, but they've not gone far enough. It wasn't so long ago we had a major road that ran underneath our National Defense Headquarters, our equivalent of your Pentagon. There was a city road that ran underneath that building. Fortunately, they've closed that more recently, but you can walk up onto the lawn of the Parliament buildings. The road in front of Parliament Hill is always open to traffic. There are tour buses parked along there, and I think there's just been a false sense of security that this kind of thing wouldn't happen in Canada.
What was the reaction on Monday when a Muslim killed the soldier and wounded another? Were people outraged? Was there a backlash against Muslim Canadians? What was the reaction?
There hasn't been any backlash that I'm aware of, Bill, but there certainly was outrage. Canada, though we are considered to be a peaceful nation, we're very, very strong supporters of the men and women in uniform, the Canadian military. And I think a lot of Canadians were shocked by the fact that a member of the military, 2 members of the military in this case, 1 killed, 1 injured, were deliberately targeted by this individual. And for this to happen again now, just 2 days later, I think really has shaken a lot of people in this country.
Canada has been a little bit reticent, although it did join the coalition to fight ISIS, but it hasn't been in the forefront of being anti-terror warriors. Do you expect this to change now?
Well, I think there are going to be some people who are going to say that this is in response to the fact that Canada is joining the war against ISIS, that some people are opposing that.
Could be.
But Canada has fought in Afghanistan, and more than 150 Canadians lost their lives in Afghanistan. It's been a big part of the fabric of our country for the last 12 years, and so we feel like we've done our part, even though we weren't part of the war in Iraq.
Okay, now, the Muslim community in Canada, in Great Britain, it's radicalized. There's a lot of trouble over there in Great Britain with crazy imams. Here in the United States, not so much. You know, it's quieter here, more peaceful here. What's it like in Canada?
I'd say it's quieter and more peaceful, although there have been reports from security officials in Canada very recently, over the last couple of weeks, that have talked about individuals who have been radicalized, people who are born in Canada and have converted to Islam and have become followers of websites and social media outlets that have been promoting hatred against Canadians and Americans and have been encouraging individuals in Canada to take action. And now it appears as though we're seeing the first signs of that in this country, people who have...
Canadian authorities knew the guy on Monday who killed the soldiers. They knew that he was a jihadist because they denied him permission, this guy, to travel to Turkey. He wanted to get to ISIS. And on the Facebook pages in Canada, there is a lot of hatred. There is a lot of pro-terrorist ISIS stuff. So the government knows. And the final thing is that the United States government warned the Canadian government that a terror attack in your country was imminent, I understand. Do you know anything about that?
I'm not aware of that specific warning. It's clear that the police did know the individual who was involved in the attack on Monday.
Right.
They did arrest him at one point, talk to him, let him go because he hadn't committed any crimes and they didn't feel he was an immediate threat. Obviously, that turned out to be wrong. But I think the Canadian security officials certainly are very vigilant and have spent a lot of time interacting with other countries like the United States and keeping a watchful eye on many individuals. But the list is not complete if an event like today could still happen. And
obviously, there'll be a lot more coming out about this. The man was 32 years old, a shooter today, 32-year-old man, and we'll know a lot about him shortly. Mr. Sutcliffe, thanks very much. We appreciate it. Next on the